So I bought a scalped 3090 on eBay, and what can I say, this thing is incredible. I mean, it's the fastest GPU chipset on the market right now, 10,496 CUDA cores, 1.7 gigahertz boost clock, 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X VRAM, the fastest available at the time. Come on, let's just soak it all in. Okay, hold up. I'd wager right now that at least half of the audience watching this video is probably pulling their hair out, screaming at their phone, going, "No, God! What is wrong with you? You paid a 25% markup on what is already the most expensive GPU available. No, God, please, no! Don't you want the market to normalize? No! You're the problem." By all means, if you're one of those people, I hear you. Go down there, dislike the video, and write me a mean comment telling me that I'm ruining capitalism and the greater free market for everybody. After you get that out of your system, you might listen on and let me explain myself a little bit. Let's cut the showy stuff. That was a joke anyway. I'm not making this video to prove that I'm better than everyone else just because I have an expensive, overpriced piece of silicon in my hand. Fact of the matter is, if I wasn't in the unique position that I'm in now, where I'm capable of utilizing this GPU to its complete and full potential, I would have never in a million years bought this. Here's why. The used 1080 Ti that I bought 2 years ago, that means it's probably got about 6 years of total heavy use, is a beast of a card. According to this chart, it's still in the 57th percentile and can run just about every game available on the market at 1440p ultra settings. I'd guess if you wanted to play Cyberpunk on this card, even after the reviews, you could probably do so with really good settings at 1440p. Sure, you'll be missing out on things like ray tracing and DLSS 2.0, but your experience with the game would probably be about the same as somebody with a next-gen card. A card that costs twice as much does not give you an experience that's twice as good. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you're one of those people out there that's playing Counter-Strike, League, or any other esports title out there, you don't even need a 1080 Ti to cap your monitor's refresh rate if you dial down the graphics. That's a compromise you should expect to be making in any competitive game you play. Lowest graphics for maximum frame rate. Okay, so what exactly am I going to be doing with this thing that justifies me spending more than double MSRP for only 7% improvement over the 3080 Ti? Well, it has to do with memory, my friend. The whole 24 shebangs of it. In fact, the 10 gigabyte capacity of the 3080 actually made it a downgrade for me. The only other alternative was the RX 6000 series, and even that would have been cutting it close. So with that, let me just make it clear that this is first and foremost a workstation card, not an entirely dedicated gaming GPU. Though with my work, it definitely fills both roles. That basically means that I am 100% the target demographic for this hardware. Over about the last year and a half, I have dedicated my time to making a Skyrim mod list, which serves as the definitive starting point for anyone wishing to experience Skyrim in the best possible light, or make mods for an updated Skyrim. BMS, my mod list, at this time quite literally rivals and most times exceeds the graphical fidelity of modern titles. I mean, just look at the B-roll. To my knowledge, it is the most carefully crafted Skyrim mod list available, and I don't say that lightly. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know more, the link will be down below. It's super easy to install and try out. There's only about 10 manual steps and then an automated mod list installer, or more accurately, compiler. It's 100% free to everyone. All you have to do is let the installer sit and download the necessary files. Plus, I'm consistently updating it and making it better. Moving on, when making a mod list like this and dealing with high definition textures and 3D models, it's important to start at the highest spec. This means taking the highest quality assets you can find with as little compression as possible and packaging that. This is important because textures can be easily downscaled, and to some extent, mesh quality can be decreased more easily than increased. This allows for compatibility with lower tier hardware so long as the necessary downscaling is done and doesn't limit those with powerful machines. Rendering at max resolution, then downscaling just about always yields a better texture too. It's the very foundation technologies like super sampling are based on. Having the highest texture asset quality possible also future-proofs the list, so as the hardware gets better, BMS doesn't lag behind. In short, I'm dealing with many uncompressed high-fidelity graphical assets which run more smoothly on video memory as opposed to regular memory. As I am already reaching upwards of 16 gigabytes of memory usage, it was more advantageous for me to go with something that has 24 gigs rather than something with much less. That's not all though. My 1080 Ti's physical die is actually at just about its physical limit when it comes to being able to output these assets with all the necessary post-processing at a reasonable frame rate. It's definitely still playable, but I do want to be able to see what those with the top tier hardware will experience. It's easy to artificially limit GPU performance to test low spec performance, but it's impossible to artificially gain more. I am also very excited to test out the video capturing capabilities of the encoder. It's not my primary concern as I have a separate video capture machine, but it will be interesting nevertheless. If you're one of the few people that is still with me, you might be interested in the purchasing experience of buying a scalped card. Again, I'm not recommending that you go out and buy one as I have, but just for the sake of completion, let me go over what happened to me. Your experience, should you decide to do this, will probably vary. The packaging was not very impressive, as is the case with most eBay purchases. A reused Amazon box with a previous shipping label and copious amounts of tape. Insufficient packaging materials were used, causing my expensive manufactured packaging to bounce around, denting a corner. Not impressive for a $2,000 purchase. The scalper could have spent a few more minutes making sure more reused bubble wrap was added. The graphics card itself performs as expected, nothing out of the ordinary there. Again, it's manufactured, my box was unopened, so it was all good. If you're interested about how the new GPU performs on my modded Skyrim, be sure to let me know down below and I'll make a video. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Go down below, like, dislike the video, leave a comment telling me what you think about my recent purchase where I got screwed over. Be sure to check out our Discord community down below, and once again, don't forget to look at the mod list if you thought it was interesting. I'll catch you in the next video.
I feel like there's some really inappropriate innuendo I can make about that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, this is my big
black.